reaction on Alec Ferguson's face, the most beleaguered manager in the game. The feelings must be rather different next to Liam O'Kane. Minutes of the second half gone, 25 minutes left. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1. Scorer, Mark Robbins. Second goal of the season, incidentally. Oh, that stayed a bit. Charles. He's a very confident young man. Chettle didn't really make it. Chettle has stayed down as the other number 5, Phelan, sets up the United attack. Early cross, covered by Walker. He's had another fine game for Forest. Is that really emphasised? It was worthy of the Bobby Moores of this world. Or is that just Dayton? Chettle's still feeling the knock, but he's back on his feet. Alistair. Fooled his man completely. That's a lovely touch in by Robbins. Now he's got to battle a bit for it. Martin to help. 3 waiting for a cross. Oh, he's done well again. McClare would have been one of those that would have taken the net away from the posts. Here's Crosby. Jemson won't make it. Doesn't look as comfortable on the left side, Gary Crosby, for all that run, does he?
I'm surprised, because he's a naturally right-footed player, and there's a tendency to come inside, and of course it closes everything down. There's Nigel Jemson, who tried to get on the end of that pass. I think Terry Wilson, perhaps the other man on the bench, will have to come on shortly, because Manchester United are dominating at the moment. Bring him on in midfield and perhaps, I don't know, push Stevie Hodge up a bit more, but there has to be a change, because at the moment you can't see Forest getting back into it if they keep things as it is.
Robbins, fired by his goal. Hughes has been fired all through. Blackmore. And there's Walker's timing of coming away to make the interception. It's holding Forest together at the back. Just suggested a comeback briefly with a couple of good passes from Clough, but it really was only brief. Won by Chettle. Sutton adjusting his position. Oh, golly, that was a great deal closer from Pallister than the goalkeeper surely thought. Blackmore's long cross. And Sutton seemed quite calm about the whole thing, but Pallister won it, and it just brushed over the top of the angle.
The much maligned Gary Pallister's had an excellent match. He and Stevie Bruce have combined very, very well and kept Jemson, and particularly Nigel Clough, very, very quiet so far.
Play by Parker. Jemson going for the head when on the chest might have been better for him, but probably was more difficult to do. Clough takes on 2, beats them. They're queuing up in the middle, but he couldn't find the pass that might have turned his skill into something on the score sheet. Left here, and the other two matches, it's 1-1 between Port Vale and Derby, and Bradford City are beating Charlton at Selhurst Park by the only goal of that contest. McClare. A rare moment for Manchester United in recent weeks, just to take any sort of sting out of the game. A rare advantage for them. No manager should be judged on one match, but it might be a result this which could transform United's season if it remains at 1-0. Martin. Forest crowd has gone a bit quiet too. Beardsmore took it well. Hodge just away from Blackmore. Robbins was the player who went into the 6-yard box. Nobody really came behind him. This is Parker, carrying in the mud, and was tripped as well. Charles. Given against Walker, about which he's not too pleased. Anderson starts to go forward. McClare with about 10 or 15 yards to move into. Blackmore's wide to the right, but not quite there. Referee wanting a word with Blackmore. Yes. Taken by Hodge. Clough. Charles. First time balls, but the last one was a poor one.
One small tactical switch. Looks like Gary Crosby is going to have a spell over on the right wing, and Orlickson gone wide on the left, just to give it a little bit of variation. Certainly a change was needed somewhere on the pitch.
That's the other number 7, Beardsmore. Martin. Hughes. Into the gap again for Robbins. Quite as well as the previous occasion, and the goal came. Clough, it's more like his control, and that's Hodge. And this is Crosby. They were playing the offside and he wasn't. Good save, Jemson. Still well in play. Orlickson. It's a poor cross, really. Jemson! Well, they survive. Crosby catching the United back. Now look for Anderson here. He'll put his hand up in a minute and claim for offside. And clearly Crosby wasn't. Leighton came out well to parry. And Anderson got the foot in. And Orlickson finally getting the cross in, and Jemson on a tight angle as the ball came to him. Interesting that Leighton was in fact moving to his right, but the ball was wide of the posts from Jemson's viewpoint. Into the last quarter of an hour. One goal between the teams, scored for Robins by Manchester United, for Manchester United. And if it stays that way, it will put the name of Manchester United in the draw for the fourth round, which will follow this contest live here on Match of the Day. Pallister. Looked very confident. To say that one England front player said to me that this fellow Pallister is the best ball-playing defender who'd played in the England team during his time there. The price tag on him certainly weighed heavily on his shoulders. £2.3 million. It's a lot to play for a developing player. He's had a good game today, and one or two recently, in spite of the results. Anderson. Good early touch by Hodge. Clough. Hodge didn't continue the run for some reason. Crosby comes back across the area, currently in the centre forward position. Room for the cross for Pearce. Goal kick. Pearce wins it. Clough. Hughes. McClare. Space on the left for Beardsmore. Early run by Martin. Walker across. Another fine challenge. Equaliser for Charlton Athletic at Selhurst Park by Andy Jones. 81 minutes. So 9 minutes left there at 1-1. And there are 12 minutes left here at 0-1. Clough. Pallister alongside. Clough had to get hold of the ball. Now what about that? Clough appeals, the crowd appeal. Mr. Shapter looks in and walks away. Clough trying to get his foot round the ball to shield it from Pallister, because if he was going to go on, Pallister was always going to make the tackle. Clough had certainly fallen first, but the second challenge was a bit difficult, but I think the referee was right.
I think it was a good decision, and one of those situations where, you know, Nigel Clough, just an extra yard or two of pace, it would make such a difference to his all-round play.
Jemson. Hodge. That was a bit slow. That has often been the case. The ball has not been pushed around at pace the way that Forest can do it with the likes of Hodge and Jemson recently. It's a corner. I think, Trevor, when Brian Clough's team don't push the ball around in the way that he would wish, the lack of pace of his son is more obvious. Pearce with the cross, punched by Leighton, long distance, missed by Parker. Charles. Orlickson's cross, well claimed. The right foot there belonged to the manager, and I bet it's itching. And he scored almost as many goals as matches he played, Brian Clough. His team desperately in need of a goal from somebody here. Otherwise, yet again, he won't make it in the FA Cup. Here's Charles. Got deflected and has well claimed again.
Well, that's what they brought Gary Charles on, to make those forward runs in front of Orlickson, who's back on the right now. And Gary Crosby, though, is one of those in the middle playing up alongside Nigel Clough, but they're not particularly tall, so the crosses have got to be whipped in along the ground.
Pearce. Jemson. Agonisingly across the face of the goal from Forest's point of view. Happily from Jim Leighton's and United's. It was a precise pass.
Good ball from Pearce. Viv Anderson tucked inside, just called out a little bit, just pulls his shot a little bit, bobbles agonisingly. Very relieved Manchester United defence did well not to touch it and let it go out of play.
And United bringing on Mike Duxbury. And he's replaced Clayton Blackmore. So a totally defensive player, really. Although he's taken the position on the right side, roughly where Blackmore was. Ball was out.
As much as anything, I think they want Duxbury to make sure Stuart Pearce doesn't make one or two of the forward runs he's starting to do late on in the game.
Just wondering, Trevor, whether Pearce will be pushed up front to give the sort of aggression that Hughes has supplied.
They do lack that little bit of aggression. I thought they might bring on Terry Wilson and push Hodge up, but at the moment, still no movement from the bench.
It's a Forest ball. Walker. Bounce wasn't kind to him. Chase for Hodge. Bruce trying to get across Jemson. And Bruce did enough by his sheer physique. Play the captain's part. 7 minutes remaining. That's a good turn, but he couldn't get the pass in. But he was held a bit, Crosby. Free kick is given against Bruce. Bruce because the ball was kicked away. Parker will take it. His goal won the contest in the cup between these two last season. Well met by Pallister, but not the best of headers. Fell kindly, and he didn't quite run from his own half, Mark Robbins. If he'd have just delayed a second, Hughes would have put him away, because he would have been from his own half. Hodge. Given away to Pallister. Duxbury. Two down the middle. Hughes and Robbins. This is Phelan. Met by Chettle. All the dwelling on the ball by Parker. This is Charles. The best of fortune with his passes. Charles has given away possession much too often. It's a chase for the Icelander. Go back a bit, says Bruce to Jim Leighton. Where We're into the last 5 minutes. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1. Mark Robins, the scorer of the goal in the 56th minute. Good recovery by Bruce. Charles. Crosby. Bruce. Anderson. Phelan. Martin is free on the left side. Another minute has ticked away. It's all over at Port Vale, so there will be a replay between Port Vale and Derby County. Oh, miscue. Almost set Robbins in for number 2. Hodge. Jemson. Hodge. Clough trying to get Crosby in. Parker. Hughes, who came back to claim it. Walker. Charles. Crosby. Free kick. Challenge from behind on Crosby. It's an unfair physical contest, that. And the gambler makes the last throw of the dice. Terry Wilson being brought on by Brian Clough. 3 minutes left. Well, 2 of the matches this afternoon have ended 1-1. Leighton. Jemson! And maybe this one will too. No, the referee is going to disallow it, but he's certainly being surrounded by United players, and a free kick has been given.
Well, as a cross come in, it looked as if it's hanging in the air. Jim Leighton comes out. I think he should have caught it, really. He's punched it up in the air, and I'm very doubtful of why it's been given, in fact, but it could only be offside rather than infringement, because certainly there was no infringement as far as I was concerned.
Clough just couldn't get it out to Crosby. Charles. Wilson. Beautifully done, Crosby. Got to come across. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes left. And United with a chance of a breakaway. Here's Mark Hughes. Mark Robins is far side. No real support coming up. Now be it's more. The possession is probably more important to United. Robins. Sutton anxious to get it forward as Forrest a few seconds ago came so close. I just wonder whether there was a push here by Terry Wilson and whether that's the reason, but wasn't the best of goalkeeping. Jemson finally got the nod, but the referee was right on the spot, but the linesman, I suspect, flagged first before the referee blew his whistle.
He's definitely reacted to the linesman's flag for offside. Whether they were interfering with play, I think the arguments will go on for that one rather a long time.
Hughes. Yes, I agree with you, because it took so long before the flag went up. Must have been for the offside. Here's Walker. Man of the match as far as Forest are concerned. Is he going to save it for them? Well, he struck it well. But unlike the to score from that range. We're now into stoppage time. Charles. Wilson. Free kick has been given. Whistles coming from the United supporters. Away by McClare. Chase for Robbins. Walker will be there first. It's got to be a long clearance from Sutton. And look at the anxiety there, and they're the team who is leading. Throw is given the other way. Alec Ferguson on his feet. He's had so much to put up with. He's just those vital seconds away from a smile. Too short for McClare. Pearce. Hasn't been a good match, but it's certainly a nail-biting finish. Crosby. 3-4 in the middle. It's got to come across. Wilson, he's done well. And Anderson who cleared. Wilson again. Banged away by Beardsmore. Wilson once more. Not fitting that Brian Clough will regret not having put him on earlier. Chettle. Anderson again. Robbins gave away possession. The long ball met by Pallister. Chettle. Offside. Just felt the watch. Didn't look at it. We make it that we've had 2.5 minutes allowed by Leicester Shapter. Oof. A bit too close for comfort. Mr. Shapter looks at his watch, but plays on. Hughes. Crosby. United are through. Some joy at last for Alec Ferguson. The one goal scored by Mark Robbins in the 56th minute. There's a smile on the face of the United manager and on the faithful supporters. And disappointment again for Brian Clough. He'll have to wait until the 34th year, and his son's face really mirroring the whole feeling around the City ground here at Nottingham, and in particular surely the feelings of his father. What a contrast for Manchester United. After so many problems, at least they've won this crunch match and go through to the 4th round, winning by 1-0. Steve Bruce goes off as the winning captain.
So United's season remains very much alive. I think they consider themselves very much the unlucky party when the two clubs met last season. Yeah. This time there was a stroke of luck about that victory. What did you make about that disallowed effort towards the end there for Forest?
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased to see Manchester United. But this is the decision now. The ball goes up in the air. Young Wilson, who's come on, makes the jump. You see, he's trying to get past Bruce there, and in doing so puts his hands on his back. That was right at the start of that incident. Nothing happens now that's untoward. They're both going for the ball. But I think the linesman who spotted it, Leicester Shapter, was right on the... You see, both of them were in a good position to see it, but Leicester Shapter allowed the linesman really to make the decision from farther away. But I'm not grumbling about that. I mean, it's one of those that was very tight and could have gone either way. Oh, the decision was offside, and you can see that quite clearly. You know, that there is... well, who's going to be offside there in that situation?
It must be.
I wonder if we would have just
Wilson.
one quick look at that again, just to see when the ball was played, just to clear it up finally, if that would be a possibility.
Well, I tell you, well, we can't just for the second, but it was a poor punch by Leighton in the first place, wasn't it? That created the trouble.
It wasn't a good punch, but what excitement to finish a game that took a long while to come to the boil, wasn't it? I mean, it really was. The last 15 minutes was magnificent.
More from us later. We've got the draw coming up live now from Lancaster Gate, and Manchester United are in that draw at number 19. Over to you, Bob Wilson.
Thank you, Des. Welcome to the home of the Football Association. 30 seconds to that draw. Let me just give you a few other numbers of interest. The one non-league survivor, Darlington, who replay against Cambridge on Tuesday. They're number 9. 4th Division Torquay, 1-0 victors over West Ham, number 11. Northampton Division 3, 1-0 winners against Coventry. Their number is 23. OK, here it comes. The draw for the 4th round is in the hands of the Chief Executive, Mr. Graham Kelly. Graham.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The home teams will be drawn by Mr. Ernest Brown, the chairman of the FA Challenge Cup Committee, and the away teams by Mr. Bert Millerchip, the chairman of the FA. Mr. Brown.
Number 5.
Bristol City.
Number 22.
Will play Chelsea or Crewe Alexandra.
Number 6.
Exeter City or Norwich City.
Number 27.
Will play Swansea City or Liverpool.
Number 29.
Rochdale.
Number 23.
Will play Northampton Town.
15.
Blackburn Rovers or Aston Villa.
Number 8.
Against Port Vale or Derby County.
Number 2.
Reading.
Number 12.
Will play Newcastle United.
Number 28.
Southampton.
Number 13.
Will play Oxford United.
Number 24.
Barnsley.
Number 10.
Will play Ipswich Town.
Number 25.
Hereford United.
Number 19.
Against Manchester United.
Number 32.
Blackpool.
Number 11.
Will play Torquay United.
Number 18.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Number 26.
Will play Middlesbrough or Everton.
Number 7.
Sheffield United.
Number 3.
Will play Watford.
Number 16.
Manchester City or Millwall.
Number 9.
Will play Cambridge United or Darlington.
Number 20.
Birmingham City or Oldham Athletic.
Number 4.
Will play Brighton and Hove Albion.
Number 31.
Crystal Palace.
Number 21.
Will play Huddersfield Town.
Number 1.
Arsenal.
Number 17.
Will play Cardiff City or Queen's Park Rangers.
Number 14.
West Bromwich Albion.
Number 30.
Will play Charlton Athletic or Bradford City. That concludes the draw. Plenty for match of the day to think about for the weekend of January 27th and 28th.
Yes, thank you very much, Graham. 4 ties there that I think caught my eye particularly. Exeter or Norwich versus Swansea or Liverpool. That's the possibility, of course, if the First Division teams get through. Norwich against Liverpool. Hereford against Man United. What a lovely draw for Hereford there. Sheffield United against Watford. That's a super tie for Dave Bassett, who, of course, was at Watford, didn't have a very good time. Now manager of Sheffield United, going well. And Arsenal against Cardiff City or QPR. That's the possibility of QPR win their replay of Don Howe against the club that he used to manage. Well, those are some of the highlights of this 4th round draw. Let's now go back to Des Lynam at the City Ground, Nottingham.
Thanks very much, Bob. Let's have some reaction to the draw and to the match now from the goal scorer here today, Mark Robbins. Brian Robson's there as well with Tony Gubber.
Well, first of all, a reaction to that draw. It's actually Hereford United away for Manchester United. Brian, how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's always nice to get a home draw in the Cup, but in saying that, on paper it looks an easier one than Forest here. But you never know when you go to these lower league clubs. You know, it's a cup final for them, and they're always difficult games.
Sure. In the way United perform against teams like Liverpool and then do-or-die cup matches like this, you might have preferred a bigger opposition, really.
Well, I think what you've got to look for is the same attitude as the lads show today. Yeah. And if we played like that every week, then we wouldn't be so inconsistent.
Amazing that there should be a controversial refereeing decision in this match, as there was in the quarter-final at Old Trafford last season. But let's talk to the goal scorer today, Mark Robbins. Great game for you. Only your 5th match today, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. It's only my 2nd game in the Cup. I played against QPR last year. I'm delighted that I've got the chance to play.
Yeah. Tell us about the goal.
I didn't remember much of it, but Matt Hughes, is that Lee Martin? Lee Martin's played a good ball to Matt Hughes, and he's got it, and he's turned and he's played a great ball in behind the defence, and it just came to me, and just managed to get my head on it. And it's gone in. I'm delighted with it.
And we can look at that again from a different angle, and as we do, Brian, perhaps you can just underline for us how important a goal like that is in Manchester United's season, because it keeps it alive.
Well, to our club it means about 200,000, I think, with the way the fans travel about with us. But no, I mean, Mark's took his chance well. He's played a couple of games now and he's scored a few goals. And not just his goal though, but his overall play. You know, he's bringing people into the game.
And hopefully you'll be fit for the 4th round.
I'm hoping so.
Smashing. Thanks very much indeed.
Well, he had a super game, and Mark Hughes' pass to him was a fabulous pass as well. But, Jimmy, what about that disallowed goal? Let's have another look at it, because we need to have another look at it.
I'm dying to have another look. I know that both officials were absolutely on the spot there, and if anybody should spot an offence, it was them. Let's look with a view to offside in mind, because that's what's suggested is the reason it was disallowed. The ball goes up in the air. Is there an offside at that point? Yes. Now there is an offside. Well done, the linesman. It's cleared it up for us nicely at the end of the day.
I think it's Gary Crosby out there, was it?
Oh, no, he hasn't given it at that point, so we'll have to forgive the linesman for that. Well, what happens now?
Still not flagging.
You see,
he flags there.
At the end of that, we can only say that's a decision that is going to mystify us as long as football lasts. Well, but it's fair that it goes in Manchester United's favour, because they had the wrong end of it last time.
It almost looked as though there was an offside earlier where there was no flag.
There was an offside earlier which he missed, but in the end, somehow they got it right.
Yeah, anyway, great victory for Manchester United. Were they worthy of victors, do you think?
I think they were, although Forest missed some chances in the second half. Young Jemson missed a couple. That shows how you can go up and down in this game. Hero last weekend, you know, and the one who didn't do it this weekend. Yeah. But if they use that result to rebuild the future of Manchester United, you know, to the past glories, that will be wonderful.
And I think we would both agree that perhaps the man of the match was Des Walker today.
Tremendous game.
Had a fabulous game on the losing side there. You can see replays in Sports Night on Wednesday night. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage from the City Ground today. Manchester United are through.
On BBC2 now, Rugby Special includes the match between Sale and Waterloo.
comedy for winter on One, upstairs and down.
I hope you'll be very happy with us.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, your first job will be to engage a new parlourmaid.
A new parlourmaid? Shouldn't be much of a problem, my lord.
Would you care for some Brussels sprouts? You've got a ping-pong ball in your soup, Squiffy.
With most dinner parties, they serve croutons.
Yes, my lady.
I don't like macaroni cheese. And I don't like cocoa.
Meet the family in You Rang My Lord, tonight at 7:15 on BBC1.
What about the bread and butter pudding?
In 25 minutes, the people of Blackpool present their treasures to Hugh Scully and Company at the Antiques Roadshow. First on BBC1, today's fashions in the Clothes Show.
Each year, you and I go into shops like this and spend £1,000 million on cosmetics. Each year, the trade in beauty products goes up another 25%. It's a huge growth industry. But why are we all hooked onto the idea that if something says it's new or improved, it's going to be better for us? Before you set off tomorrow to a chemist's or a department store, think very carefully about what you're about to buy.
According to the latest Home Office figures, just under 17,000 animals were used in the testing of toiletry and cosmetic products in Britain during 1988. What we must question is whether or not the use of animals is really necessary and exactly how it's done. And more importantly for the future, whether or not there are any reasonable alternatives and how the beauty industry is responding to those alternatives. Some of the scenes that are about to follow you may find harrowing, so if you have small children watching, or if you're of a particularly sensitive disposition, you may like to rejoin us in 5 or 6 minutes.
It's totally unjustifiable, and most people would agree that to put animals through poisoning, skin and eye irritation tests, merely for products for vanity, that are trivial, is totally immoral.
Every year, thousands of other animals suffer this ugly pain in the name of beauty. Please use cosmetics that are cruelty-free.
And what sort of tests actually go on?
Well, there are 3 main types of tests. Poisoning tests, where animals are dosed with a particular product or ingredient to see how long it will take to kill them or what the effects are, often in quite high doses. Skin tests, where animals are strapped to tables or held in restraining devices, and the products are applied to their skin and left for several days. An eye test, where products are literally dripped into the eyes of conscious rabbits and left there without them being able to wash them out.
I think the thing we've got to remember that animal testing is a very expensive business and no one enjoys it. And it's been done in the past where new ingredients, have been developed, and really we do have to maintain the safety of the products that the public are going to be using. I, for one, as a journalist, would be very worried about writing about and introducing products to consumers that I felt had not a proven safety record.
We make a range of products which is largely composed of decorative cosmetics, by which I mean makeup and eyeshadows, as well as skin and hair care products. There is an important point to make, though, that we only use ingredients that predate 1976. This is because in 1976 the European Cosmetics Directive was issued, and as a result of that, new ingredients which come onto the market in the late 70s and the 80s have to be tested for safety using animals in order to be used in cosmetics. That's why we only use old ingredients.
It's very difficult to justify testing on animals for cosmetics testing, but the concern of the industry is in the safety of the consumer, and they're concerned that their products aren't going to damage the people that buy them. And so if they could test another way, they would.
We at the moment are developing a yeast cell system for testing chemicals.
Now, is yeast really similar to my left eye or my right arm?
Very similar, yes. The structure of the cells and their contents are very similar to your cells.
So why is it that this kind of information, this style of testing, has not been carried out before?
Why hasn't it been done before? Because it takes a lot of time and effort to develop these tests, and also it requires funding.
What sort of response are you actually getting from industry in endeavouring to induce them to stop this kind of testing?
Well, no response as far as defending these type of tests. They try to keep them secret, they try to keep the consumers unaware of what's going on, and they won't come on programmes like this and defend what they're doing.
The Close Show approached a number of major cosmetic companies for interview, but none of them were able to field a spokesman. However, in a letter to the BBC, L'Oreal said, "This company not only completely supports the principle of the elimination of animals in laboratories, but that we are in the forefront of developing alternative tests and investing millions of pounds in our own and independent laboratories to this end. We look forward to when, scientifically, this will be possible without prejudicing consumer safety."
Because in this country we do have quite tight laws controlling animal experimentation, but if we banned cosmetics testing, then we are in danger of perhaps our own industry being taken over by another country, perhaps the Japanese industry, where they do not have quite so tight controls on animal experimentation. We might find that our own market is flooded by products from Japan.
If people truly want to turn green with their cosmetics, they should not look for new products, new innovators in the business, new anti-aging creams. They should really use the ones that have been tried and tested over many years. What worries me, I'm sure you know about the new European legislation that's due in 1992, we may end up not being, having less animal testing, but actually being liable for more.
With over 200 shops to choose from designer one-offs to market stalls, the Arndale Centre in Manchester is the place to be if you're looking for a bargain in the January sales. But what's to choose? Well, the Close Show have recruited 6 volunteers from the Berry Youth Group and put 50 quid their way to spend on a completely new outfit. Anything could happen in the next half hour.
Pop stars, I do influence you, yeah, because like they come out in the shops, the clothes they wear, but if I go into a shop, I like seeing bright clothes, like wearing bright clothes, like being different. I don't like following the crowd.
How much do you like to spend on clothes? Do you have an allowance?
No, I get £8 a week, but most of that has to go away.
What sort of things are you looking for here?
Well, actually, I am after, you know, a pair of tracksuit bottoms. If I get a top, whatever from here, you know, I'm not too bothered. But, like, I was after, you know, like a pretty freaky top sort of thing.
Where will you go for that?
Well, if there's not one in here, I haven't a clue.
What is it you're looking for?
Something I could wear to a party, perhaps something big, something baggy. So I look for what I like more than anything else.
And what about inspiration? Where'd you get that from?
I have a look around the shops and see what my friends are wearing, and perhaps get something a little bit different than what they've got.
I want some sparkly clothes, a bit outrageous, different than what I usually wear.
And where do you get your inspiration from when you're shopping?
Well, I get a bit of it, I could say, from pop stars, but I'm not sure which pop stars.
And from what you've seen today, is there enough choice?
Yeah, there's too much choice, I would say.
What are you looking for, clothes-wise?
Something comfy, like a tracksuit bottom, sweatshirt,
How much would you normally spend on clothes? Do you get an allowance?
I get £6 a week.
Linda, why are you looking at tracksuits?
I think they're beautiful. They're dead colourful, and I've seen loads of people wearing them.
It's been 3 hours now, plenty of time to spot a bargain and get a brand new look together. But for 50 quid, they don't get off scot-free, because now they've got to model it. First out is Joanne Wright. She got her clothes from Influence, Miss Selfridge and Topshop. David Ogden got his stuff from Peter Brown, Influence and Topshop. He's been the most creative today and decided that he wanted a pair of shorts and nothing would stop him, so he bought a pair of trousers and cut them down. Joanne Bowles went to Topshop, Snob and Influence for her look. It took her a while to get it together, and she has had a little bit of persuasion in the adventurous dressing department. Lynetta Culpepper went to JD's for those splendid tracky bottoms. She also went to Topshop and Influence. She didn't know she was going to have to model it, though, and says it's harder work than she thought it would be. Second man onto the catwalk is Simon Green. He went to Topshop, Hotlines and Peter Brown for his get-up. Linda Wilson didn't mess around. She went straight to JD's for a tracksuit jacket and a tracksuit trousers. These she teamed with a lilac T-shirt, and it's Barnet Au Naturel.
One of the real highlights of the clothes show last year was the wedding of our bride of the year, Nia Parry, to William Oliver. It was a truly magical day, not just for the groom or the bride or their families, but everybody that was involved on the programme. In a moment or two, we're going to start the search for our bride of 1990, somebody who wants something that's special and different. But in the meantime, let's have a look back to last spring.
And now she's in Portmaddock, we've another surprise or two in store for Nia to add to her special day. Her very own landau and horses to take her to the chapel, accompanied by the pipes and drums of the Welsh Piping Society.
Pipes and drums, on the rolls, by the centre, quick, march!
After such a fabulous wedding, the question is, how can we do better than that? Well, the answer is that our bride of 1990 is going to be different. Unlike on previous years, where we've organised the dress designer, the flower arranger, and those extra special little bits like the pipe band or the open carriage,
This year, we're actually looking for a bride who has her very own and distinctive ideas about what her wedding should be like. We're not looking for another white wedding. In fact, anything but. We're looking for a wedding that has got tons of original ideas. So we'd like you to write to us on the Clothes Show, because what we're going to do is make those ideas come true and become the dream wedding. We need to hear from you by next Friday, so write to us as quickly as you can, and there are only 2 rules. The first is that the wedding has to take place between St. Valentine's Day and April the 30th, and the second is that the letter must come from you, the bride, not family and not friends, but from you. So the address to write to is Dream Wedding, The Clothes Show, BBC Pebble Mill, Birmingham, B5 7QQ. The address again is Dream Wedding, The Clothes Show, BBC Pebble Mill, Birmingham, B5 7QQ.
Forget those troublesome trifles and those sinking soufflés. It's time to come out of the kitchen and dazzle the dinner party guests with the latest in a la carte kitchenware. And we're better to pose the perfect pinny than the Good Housekeeping Institute. Imagine you're a large and successful clothing company like Next and you want to tell everyone about your 5th mail order catalogue. What could you do that would entice punters to spend their hard-earned cash, show off the brightly coloured spring collection at its best, and ensure that this is the one they'll all be talking about? Well, first you could choose an exotic location. How about Ident, tucked away between Jordan and Egypt? On the surface, it's a bit like the Torremolinos of Israel, but go a little deeper and there's quite literally another world. Yes, Next are shooting their advertising campaign down here. Is it a good idea to photograph clothes underwater?
Next Directory started off as something that was very innovative, and this really is just continuing that, to do something that looks very new and different.
What sort of problems have you encountered trying to make the clothes look good underwater?
The major problems is that it really limits what it is that you can actually photograph in terms of colour, because some colours work and some colours don't. The technical problems have been sorted out for us by a very good backup team.
Paper bag. 3 pounds of potatoes, please. In the bag.
Tim, how do you make the clothes look good underwater?
It's from experimenting. We had experimental sessions in the pool. Every fabric behaves differently, every garment behaves differently. And remember, we want them to look like clothes underwater, not artificial. That's very important.
So what do white shirts behave like underwater?
Well, apart from buoyancy, our other big problem is transparency. A white shirt on land would look fantastic, but underwater it will go completely transparent. We've painted it with an oil-based primer, an ordinary paint, a domestic paint, and it stops it going transparent and looks fine underwater. It looks like an ordinary shirt. If you look inside here, we actually completely,
Secrets.
yes, here we go. Completely line the front. This is a sort of plastic-coated cotton, which gives it just enough body, so it still looks natural, yeah, but a bit of body. In the lapel here, we have a sheet of plastic, completely rigid plastic, to stop the lapel scrunching up underwater. Because of the natural buoyancy, they obviously want to float up, we have to hold them on the seabed. So the idea behind this is there's a plate weighted down on the seabed in which to hold them down, shoes actually clip into the plate. These are all interchangeable so that they can wear any type of shoe with different types of clips, and they can just be taken down to the seabed, hooked onto the plate, and they're there for good. Obviously, there are lots of people there who can pull the pin out at a moment's notice. They could do it themselves. It's not a complicated system. Sure, it holds them down, but you can easily get them back up.
Do you have a little ritual that you do to kind of get yourself mentally prepared? Do you have to sort of shut yourself off and think about it?
Yeah, I always get a little quiet right before I go in, and I pray, and I go like, okay, God, I'm going again, and just let everything be all right, and then I go.
I love it. Just can't wait.
What are the obvious difficulties and obvious differences making up for underwater as opposed to usual makeup?
Well, the most difficult thing is actually getting it to stay on, and then making sure that anything that you do use doesn't run, and also making sure that you don't have a lot of blue in any lipstick or eye colour that you use, or use eye pencils that are too blue, because they would just look purple underwater.
And there's this magic way.
Safety for all of those involved in the shoot is crucial, especially for the models. They're all experienced divers and give up their air supply for up to 40 seconds at a time in order to pose for the photographs. Each model has their own qualified diving instructor, affectionately known as the buddy breather, whose job it is to take them down to the seabed and ensure that when they need air, they get it.
Safety is actually the most important. If the shot doesn't happen because someone needs to be tended to, then that's what happens. If someone needs air, then that's what they get. They have complete veto over the shot.
The basic thing about being down there is it's really uncomfortable. I mean, it's sort of scary. It's more scary before you get in. Once you're in, it's sort of, the water calms you down.
Well, what do you feel like when they actually take the mask away? Because that's your lifeline, isn't it? And
That's the I mean, I like wearing a mask going down there so I can see where I am, how far down I am. So I'm just sort of, it's like moving into a house. On this job, you're not nice to the makeup people or the lighting people, you're nice to your buddy breather.
Mike, what was the brief that you got from Next?
Well, to photograph fashion underwater in such a way that we sort of echo what might happen on land, and to try and get the models to perform in such a way that as if they weren't underwater. The trick is to rehearse them carefully in the pool before we leave, and then transpose that whole situation into the environment of the sea.
What about the clothes? Because people obviously have an expectation of the way clothes should look.
People assume that when clothes are wet that they cling to the body and look disgusting. The truth of the matter is that the water, there's the same densities, fills up the clothes, and so they float. And they only look dreadful when they actually come out of the side of the boat and cling to them. So the fashion actually works really beautifully.
Lauren, we've seen the stills, so we know it all looks fabulous, but it's not all as glamorous as that, really, is it?
Definitely not, no. That, I think the stills you saw was the fish feeding, and while we were doing it, I had like a plastic bag tied to my back, full of bread, and if they can't get into the bag, which they can't, it's really tough, they start eating my skin and peck.
Reenactment.
If you've got any little scabs, they're off by the time you get up, and they're in your hair and everything.
tips for any models contemplating underwater shooting, what would you say to them?
Forget it, mate.
Marina, aquamarina, what are these strange enchantments that start whenever you're near? Marina, aquamarina, why can't you whisper the words that my heart is longing to hear? Your magic to me, a beautiful mystery. I'm certain to fall, I know, because you enthrall me so.
Survivors, a new series exploring mankind's effect on the natural world, beginning with the wolf saga.
The wolf has been one of the most successful hunters on Earth. Strength, endurance, and teamwork helped it